Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of CML Statehouse Report. I'm Meghan Dollar, the League's Advocacy Manager, and I'll go ahead and get us started. The first bill I want to talk about is CML-initiated legislation, which would allow local governments to promote affordable housing, in their communities. It will clarify the Telluride decision and hopefully be an extra tool for municipalities to be able to utilize in order to increase supply in their communities. That bill will be up in Senate State Affairs. It was sent there for a positive reason, I should add. This Tuesday coming up, CML will certainly be there in support with other members of our local government community, and we are very hopeful that we'll see that bill move forward. Also up in the State Affairs Committee is House Bill 1222, which CML is actually opposed to. What that bill does is remove a number of land use authority, a lot of land use authority from local governments in order to regulate single home childcare providers that supply services to up to 12 children. CML generally opposes any type of infringement on our land use authority, and this bill is no different, and so we will be there in opposition. Finally, I want to talk about House Bill 1250, which is the sort of follow-up to Senate Bill 2217, which was the Law Enforcement Accountability Act. The Law Enforcement Integrity Act, I should say. This new one is a Law Enforcement Accountability Act. And so House Bill 1250 was actually heard last week in committee. CML testified that we would like to see a number of amendments to the bill, and we are currently in an opposed unless amended position. We would like to see the definition of contact narrowed. We would like to see more clarifying and narrowing of when officers need to have their body cameras on and what kind of footage needs to be recorded. And we would also like to see a number of clarifications in the use of force standard, which is also in the bill. Additionally, the bill contains language that in certain circumstances could force a municipality to indemnify an officer who has been convicted of a crime. We do have concerns with the expanse of the civil liability as well. And so we will continue to voice that concern. The bill was amended with some amendments that were positive. For example, it increased the threshold of when a critical incident response team needs to be coordinating an outside investigation. As introduced, the bill said that every injury by an officer to an individual would trigger a CERT team, and the bill was amended in committee to actually make it so that there needed to be serious bodily injury before that is triggered. Additionally, there were some good clarifications and definitions. Although there was an amendment to actually allow whistleblower capability for officers. They already enjoy this capability, certainly on the federal level. So CML has some concerns regarding additional liability to local governments, but ultimately believe that authority does already exist. The ability already does exist. So with that, that's the end of my report, and I'll kick it to the next lobbyist.
Hi, everyone. This is Heather Stauffer. Today, I'm going to be talking about 4 bills. The first bill is House Bill 1051, Public Information Applicant for Public Employment. This bill would clarify that rather than multiple candidates, municipalities and other public entities are required to name only one or more candidates for a chief executive position and make their application and materials public under CORA. CML testified in support of this bill in the Senate State Affairs Committee this week, and the bill passed on a 3-2 vote. The second bill I want to talk about is House Bill 1244, Restrictions on Collection and Use of Biometric Information. This bill would restrict the types of biometric information that municipalities could collect, which can have wide-ranging impacts on law enforcement investigations, municipal airport security, facilities access, and other issues. The bill also creates a private right of action in excess of governmental immunity standards and a waiver of governmental immunity. So CML testified in opposition to this bill in the House Business Affairs and Labor Committee. The bill was laid over so that the sponsor could work on amendments, so we will stay involved in that. The third bill I want to talk about is House Bill 1253, Renewable and Clean Energy Project Grants. This bill transfers $5 million from the general fund to local government severance tax funds to fund grant programs for local governments, for renewable and clean energy infrastructure projects. CML submitted testimony in support of this bill. The bill passed on a 6-5 vote in the House Energy and Environment Committee. And finally, House Bill 1008, Forest Health Project Financing. This bill allows intergovernmental groups to form special improvement districts to fund forest improvement projects. CML lobbied in support of this bill, and it passed third reading in the Senate and is headed to the governor's desk for signature. So that's it for me this week. Have a great week.
Hi, everyone. I'm Meghan McKillop, a legislative and policy advocate with CML. Here's what's happening at the Capitol. First, I want to talk about some things that happened at the Statehouse last week. Let's start with Senate Bill 180. As introduced, this bill would have established a recycling and composting enterprise fund and grant program, which could have possibly helped municipalities improve their recycling infrastructure. While CML supports the idea of providing cities with the funding to improve waste diversion programs, this bill would have undermined work currently being done by the Department of Public Health and Environment to study how Colorado can improve recycling through extended producer responsibility measures. Well, the bill was amended in the Senate Finance Committee last week, and rather than creating a new enterprise, the bill as amended complements the work underway at CDPHE and directs the department to convene a stakeholder advisory committee to make recommendations on the development of post-consumer recycled content requirements for consumer packaging. CML has taken a neutral position on the bill as amended, and we look forward to working on future legislation with the sponsors to improve recycling rates throughout the state. Next, I want to discuss Senate Bill 200, which had its first hearing in the Senate Transportation and Energy Committee last week. The bill puts into statute current rules adopted by the Air Quality Control Commission to help reduce statewide greenhouse gas emissions. The bill requires the AQCC to consider the social cost of greenhouse gas emissions and sets firm caps on emissions for key sectors of the economy. For CML's purposes, we're concerned about the bill's application to municipal utilities. Right now, municipally owned utilities are developing and adhering to clean energy plans that will reduce greenhouse gas emissions as part of 2019 climate change mitigation legislation. We are also concerned with the bill's requirement to submit their clean energy plans to the PUC and to submit their greenhouse gas reduction plans to the AQCC. We are currently opposed to the bill unless it's amended to exclude municipal utilities, and we're working with the sponsors to do just that. Now, on to this week. On Wednesday, CML is testifying in support of House Bill 1109, which makes changes to the Broadband Deployment Board. This is the bill's first stop in the Senate. In short, the bill would make updates to the Broadband Deployment Board in order to help provide internet access to areas that are critically unserved or that don't have any access currently. The bill would help provide funding for broadband to cities and towns that need it the most, and it would maintain municipal representation on the deployment board. On Thursday, CML is testifying in support of House Bill 1269 before the House Energy and Environment Committee. This bill would require the Public Utilities Commission to perform a feasibility study on the concepts of community choice energy. This is where a community may choose to purchase electricity at a wholesale rate through suppliers other than the local investor-owned electric utility. The feasibility study is intended to determine whether CCE has the potential to enable communities to meet their renewable energy goals and save money without using a regulated utility as their sole supplier of service. CCE would provide more options to our cities and towns who are beholden to one main supplier of energy, and we support not only the concept of CCE, but of this PUC study. That's all I have for now, and as always, please reach out with any questions.
Hi everybody, Bill Clarine here, and today I will provide you all with updates on two bills. The first bill I will discuss is House Bill 1168. CML has been working intensely with the sponsor, Rep. Bacon, on a strike below amendment that turns this bill into a pilot. As this bill has moved forward throughout the stages, this amendment has stayed on. This past week, CML testified in support of this amendment in the House Finance Committee. The bill passed this committee on a party line vote of 7-4 and will be debated in the House this week. CML greatly thanks the sponsors for working with us on this bill. The next bill I will discuss is House Bill 1027. Under current law, certain liquor licensees may sell alcohol as a part of takeout and delivery orders through July 1st, 2021. This bill continues takeout and delivery through July 1st, 2026. CML has recently learned that there will be an amendment to this bill that concerns entertainment districts and communal dining. CML is currently reviewing this language and working with the proponents of this amendment to ensure that anything related to communal dining or entertainment districts will allow local governments to opt into these changes via an ordinance. We will continue to advocate for as much local control over these changes as possible. I'll be sure to keep you updated as these negotiations are finalized. And that concludes my updates for this week. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions on any of the bills I've mentioned.
Thanks so much for watching our video this week. As always, contact us with any questions, and we'll see you next week. All right, bye.